Well, I am on my way to do a little bit of work here. I took a day off from work for reasons, and I am on my way to this town of Preston, Minnesota. And we're gonna do a couple of things. We're gonna be looking for flock cameras in the county seat, and on top of the flock cameras in the county seat, we're gonna be doing a little 1A work, see how people respond. I'm gonna just go to the downtown, which is, in Preston is not a big deal. Preston is not a big city by any stretch of the imagination. It is the county seat of Fillmore County, so the courthouse is there. And let's see what else. The courthouse is there. They have their own city hall and police department on top of the county stuff. And so my plan is I'm going to park in the county courthouse parking lot, and then I'm going to kind of walk the block. We're going to be looking for cameras. Hi Sarah, thanks for being here. We're going to walk the square, walk the block around the area there, and we're going to look to see what businesses have cameras on everybody. And then we are going to point out all the cameras that we can find on the outside of the courthouse, and we're going to do some video of businesses and whatnot in the downtown area, and see how it goes. So, yeah, took an extended weekend. I took Friday off, and then I took today off. Have to burn my hours. I work for a company that's very generous with PTO, but if you don't burn it all, well, not all, I can roll over 40 hours of PTO every year, but I can't roll over any more than that. So I lost a little bit, but yeah, if you guys watched the stream at all on Saturday, we did a conversation on Jason Paulson and I did a stream about flock cameras, and that got me thinking about not just flock cameras, which, by the way, I'll try and remember to put the link to the flock camera stream in the description of this live stream as well. But it got me thinking about cameras in general and just how commonplace cameras have become for most people. We're used to being under surveillance all the time. Banks have cameras, grocery stores have cameras now. Pretty much every business, even in small towns, has a security camera system on the outside as well as inside. One of my favorite bar and grill places in Spring Valley, where I live, I noticed before, but I'm constantly reminded they have cameras inside watching people. Which, there again, I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't have anything to worry about. And it's a private business, and if you want to do business with them, then you have to be willing to be on camera. And so I've always thought to myself, what is it? Why are people... I've noticed that people freak out when they see someone holding a camera, but yet having no idea what that person holding the camera or shooting video is going to do with the video, they freak out. Excuse me. You see this over and over and over again with the 1A audit channels, the people that are dedicated to that, or even a channel like Emma Gadsden Press. Jason does great work. He's not a auditor per se, but he's also not afraid to stand his ground. But Jason's from Armageddon Press, along with his son, Watching the Watchmen. They travel around the lower 48, stopping in big cities and small towns, and they're constantly running into people who just absolutely flip their gourds over being how dare you. So, thank you, Smoking Auditor. But yeah, so you guys, we're almost to my destination, and I hope that you guys will share this out and like it. I really appreciate all of my channel members, all of my channel subscribers, especially guys like Tav, the Angry Vet, who comes in at show producer level, Map, Larry, who's show producer level from Subscribestar. I don't do 1A audit stuff on a regular basis just because my regular work plus my channel work that I do is just not conducive to all of that. So I don't get opportunities like this very often. Oh, man, thanks. Thank you for sending that. And congratulations, Nancy. You probably won't see it, but thanks for sending that channel membership. But I picked today because it's a Monday. The courthouse will be open. There will be, people going in and out for business. And I want to see how people are going to respond in downtown Preston to someone who's just walking around, shooting video, streaming. And I'm not looking for conflict. I don't want conflict. I want people to, come up to me and ask me who I am and what I'm doing and show some interest so we can have a conversation about it. Well, the Smoking Otter, I really appreciate that. I'm very thankful to meet new people, and I'd love it if you would stick around and offer feedback as we're walking around small town Preston, Minnesota, and thanks for being here. Hope you'll subscribe, and once again, thanks for the channel membership. But I picked today because it's my birthday, and I just wanted to go do this today because I never have an opportunity to do it anyway. And I have the ability to interact with people in a pretty civil way, especially when they're upset. So if somebody does get upset, we'll be able to handle that. Yeah, we're coming into Preston. I wish I could show you guys, but yeah, we're in Preston now. I'm going to be looking for a place to park. See if we can spot any flock cameras. And then if we can't spot any flock cameras, I'm going to see what we can find by way of video cameras on other businesses. We'll just park right here on the street. It is a very small town, yeah. But here we go. We're going to get started. Oh, thanks for the happy birthday. So let me pull this off and see if I can see what some of these comments were. Oh man, Smoking Auditor, you're amazing. You sent a bunch of stuff. Hey, Jesse. Good to see you. I hope you guys will share this out. I'd really like to get a lot more than my normal streams. Don't look up my nose, folks. So, here we go. Thanks, Jesse. I'm gonna get this on my... All right, we're all set up. Go out and not cause havoc. I'm gonna turn the camera around for you guys so you guys can see it. So it's super bright outside, so I can barely see. So we're gonna walk around a little bit here, see if we can notice any cameras. I'm really surprised just how few cameras there are in this town. I kind of expected more. So, on the outside, we can go down here and see if there's anything. I think you guys will really like this public library, by the way. This is a really nice library for a small town. Love the architecture. It's kind of before modernism came in. Love those doors. Talk about myself? I'm boring. You don't want me to talk about myself. But yeah, this is a really, really nice building. It's a very interesting entryway. Love these doors, like I said. Anyway, let's go check out. Go check out the police department. Preston Police Department. Very small agency. So, Preston is very, very proud of their fishing heritage here. Good. He doesn't have his laptop out. It's interesting. Hi there.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, yeah, see, cameras everywhere. No, there's cameras in lobbies. See that? Yep. So you're always being surveilled. No matter who you are, no matter what, you're always being surveilled. Like I said, it's shocking. To me, the number of cameras that you can find on buildings where people are constantly being watched, and they don't even notice them. And that's mostly because they're kind of tucked up in a way. But when you point it out, they're like, well, that's different. Wow. 1898. When they really got their start. I'm going to have an interesting show coming up here in the next month for you guys too, by the way. Oh, not just next month. Coming up, but I am going to be attending Blake Mostad's benefit fundraiser in Princeton, Minnesota this weekend, October 4th. And if you guys haven't yet, you should check out Blake's story on my page or on my channel here. Blake was, yes, it's never a problem for them to record us, only for us to record them. Yeah, like free zucchini, help yourself. You know what, I might come back and grab that. The chickens love zucchini. So here's a really good example. So Fit Express, physical therapy, free weights, all that. They've got cameras out, and that's not just pointed at their door. That's pointed down at the street. So that captures and records everybody walking by. So we should probably say hi. We're going to cam back, and you can see that the little blue light shows that it's active. So, but yeah, so check out Blake Mostad's story on my page, on my YouTube channel here. He was paralyzed by a Minnesota State Trooper Ryan Moser, back back on April 9th, and after investigating for months and months and months, the sheriff's office in Sherburne County turned it over to the county attorney's office, and then they kicked it over to Dakota County and decided that there was nothing to charge the trooper for, even though the trooper was doing better than 120 miles an hour when he hit Blake. So there's that. Oh, that's another thing that Preston does, is they have a lot of businesses in town that highlight support for veterans and when they're veteran owned. So really like that. It's the Preston Storehouse, meeting room and indoor storage. I like the old. It's really hard. It's hard to show. I like old towns like Preston that hold on to the old facades of their buildings and don't tear those facades down, and it's quaint. Even though everything else is modernized, we've got, the nice LED type signs and stuff, but they hold on to the facades. And to me, that's what small town living's about. It's what attracts people to, towns. And, you look at this, like this little banner here tells you that Preston was established in 1855. I mean, we're talking, pre-Civil War, and they've done their best in a lot of these situations, and we kind of scale it back here a little bit, but in a lot of these buildings they've done their best to kind of maintain that frontier town look, modernize a little bit. They put some tin siding on, but they still have the wood plank look to it, and so That's and something else too that you see in small towns is what you see here with everybody being willing to uh, allow different things in town to advertise for themselves. You just don't see this in big cities anymore, big towns at all. You don't see anybody that you know puts flyers up, and I don't know why that is, but this is a Hy-Vee Health Market. Hy-Vee is a really big chain of grocery stores here in the upper Midwest. Um, so we got Armor Computers here. They don't allow guns or knives on their premises, and they've got a camera pointing out at the street. So you should wave at the camera and let them know that we see them. Hours are 9 to 5 on Mondays and Friday and closed on the weekends. But there's nobody there now, so obviously they're... So... I really like old buildings like this. If I had done a little bit more research, it probably would have been smarter, but I see if you guys can see this. I love this old not Gothic, but almost this Greek or even Romanesque style architecture. And you could see the age of the framing of the windows in this building. So I love that. So, hi there. And there again, with newer cities like Rochester, which is roughly 30 miles from here, you don't see. Oh, I forgot my business cards in my vehicle. What this is. This is an interesting building. But yeah, anyway, I was telling you this coming weekend, I am going to the Blake Mosted, and I'm benefit, and I will be streaming from there, at least one stream, if not more. They're proud to live in a veteran-friendly community. Okay. Look at, see, I love these old brick buildings, and I wouldn't live in a brick. I would not want a brick house or a brick building for myself. Just not me, but I love that. This is the Fillmore County Journal office right here. So. Fillmore County Sheriff's Office squad parked. Good. His laptop's not in the car like that. Check that out. This building is being turned into a coffee and wine bistro, or not a wine bistro, coffee and drink bistro. The owner of Some Like It Hot in Spring Valley is moving locations and coming here to Preston and just taking over this building. So that's really interesting. Cool. I guess I don't know why. Yeah. I love that architecture. And this is the sweet sandwich shop. The best little sub shop you've never heard of. So, see, and I love there that they put the sign up. I always like to see the proud veterans, and whatnot. I've heard good things about this place. I love their building.
It's warm over here.
It is warm, isn't it? So. Good lunch today?
Very good.
I'm going to open the door and say hi. I just wanted to stick my head in and say hello.
Hello.
I'm doing some videoing around town, and I noticed before that you guys have your signs up for being proud to support veterans.
We do, definitely.
Yeah, and somebody had told, are you the owner?
I'm not.
Oh, somebody had told me that the owner is a veteran? Or
Yes, yep.
yeah.
Air Force.
We won't,
Air Force. Yeah. Yeah.
we won't hold that against him. So.
I think he's just trying to talk off to you about the Air Force.
Oh no, I see the signs all around town, and
Right.
and I was telling my audience about how much I love the architecture, how Preston has really maintained most of
They try to, yeah.
its older architecture, and then I keep seeing the signs that say, proud veteran owned, or proudly support veterans.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that in any other town, and I live in Spring Valley, and there's none of that in Spring Valley.
No.
So it's really nice to see. So I wanted to come in and say thanks. And I've heard really good things about you guys. I heard that you
Great. Thanks for stopping in.
oh, you don't have to thank me. But I just wanted to come in, and I just love the inside of the building even. Everybody is just, obviously it's a little artsy as far as they're emphasized a little bit of the old, but it's just really cool. And is this like corrugated? Yeah, that's, and they even gave the floors a old wood look. So you're bored with me already. So
No, it's okay. I'm used to it.
you folks have a good day.
You too, thanks.
And then we have all of this, and then this just really boring modern building here. Oh. But so yeah, we're gonna do a couple of live streams from Blake, at least one, if not two. We're gonna do a couple of that on Saturday. I do have some plans to do some content from drive time dialectic style stuff this weekend, or this week, coming home. I'm away home from work. No, this is the one that really shocks me with the community bank. Normally you'll see the cameras very readily available on the outside of banks, and there's nothing on the outside of this one that's just noticeable, which is really kind of shocking. So I don't know, have you guys ever noticed these small units like this? Those are called, you see a lot of this stuff like on small apartment buildings where each unit has its own little air conditioner. Those are called mini splits. So there you see that right up there. There's a mini split up there. So I'm gonna walk back to my car and grab some of my business cards just in case anybody asks me who I am and what I got going on. So they Preston is completely surrounded by the Amish. The gal that was in the sandwich shop was Mennonite, the one that you saw. But F&M community gave this flag and flagpole in honor of apparently one of their longtime clients. That's kind of neat. So you don't see that very often. So yeah, I'm gonna go grab some business cards out of my vehicle, and then we're gonna go walk around the government building, the courthouse area, a little bit. Yeah, they're very, very proud of their coffee. So, all right, and they're fishing in small towns like this. See, like, I think this might be one of the least amount of cameras I have ever seen in a town. I just, like, if you walk through Spring Valley, there are cameras all over downtown, once again, I don't have a problem with. This would have been an elevated boardwalk at one point. So only in small town Midwest will you see "Be back soon" signs put up. Minnesota DFL, Democrat Farmer Laborers Union. It's always interesting. I have next to nothing in common with the Republican Party anymore, but I darn sure have nothing in common with the average DFLer, which is Minnesota's Democrat Party. Minnesota's Democrat Party makes some of the other Democrat parties in the country seem like they're hardcore right-wingers. Let's grab my business cards. Oof. So I'm going to try not to jaywalk here. Alright, I got my business cards. Okay. It's kind of toasty for September 29th in Minnesota. So So this is where, to me, it gets interesting. So you can always spot. So here's all the county vehicles. You get to park here. These are all employee stuff. I'm trying not to focus, but you can always tell what's supposed to be some sort of squad. Cameras, like, so when you get to a government building, taxpayer funded government building, cameras they're on us at all times, right? So like right there at that entrance, just before you even get to the main building, there's a camera there. And I think they make everybody. Yeah, so this is an employee entrance only. So, and here's, so you can't go through that door. And I know they have screening upstairs. So yeah, now to get into the building, even though you have all these doors, they direct you away from these doors. So you have to go through the screener. And the screener, of course, is a Fillmore County deputy, because this is a Fillmore County Courthouse and Government Center. And you have to get run through an x-ray, and you have to give over all your stuff if you want to enter the building. And you can't, so there's a camera right there on the corner, right up there. You guys see it? Hey, Vet Nation. Yeah, there's been more than 30 people watching, I know that. Sarah's on top of it. Only got 6 likes. Really appreciated the smoking auditor stopped in earlier. Skipper, thanks for stopping by. Chris Dieter, welcome. So, I mean, hey, what are you doing by our building? That's my building. What are you talking about, our building? Which building are you talking about? Welcome to the stream, 98bet. Yeah, everybody say hey. Got Sarah Sanchez in the house. She's what would you think if I get done here and then I drove over to the sheriff's office and walked around the sheriff's office building? See, so there's another camera right there. And you guys can see it there on the corner. There's a camera there. Can't go in this door. I'm always very surprised. So this is the only door you can enter if you're not an employee. And there's a camera there. And the very important tax payment drop box. Wouldn't want people to not be able to drop off their tax payments to government. Should I go in and see if we can... Should I go in and see if they let me shoot B-roll of the inside of the building? Yeah, let's try it. Anybody here?
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I'm doing a story about government and government offices and like government recording and stuff.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I'm talking about like flock cameras and stuff, and I was wondering if I could come in and get some B-roll.
Um,
I don't want to go into courtrooms, but
Right, right. Okay. Let's see here. If you want to just put that like right up top.
yeah,
here.
absolutely. Hold on a minute, guys. Deputy Spand?
What's that?
Deputy Spand?
Yeah, with an E there.
Spand? Is it Spand or Spandy?
Span.
Spandy?
Yep.
Cool. You mean we run this stuff
Yeah,
through?
you just throw it right up top here.
Okay.
Yep.
Change. I don't want to. See, what else do I have? Nothing. I don't have anything else.
Okay. All right. Looks like you're good.
All right. Thank you. How long you been on the job?
I've been here for about 5 years.
5 years.
So. Yep.
You full-time court security now,
I
or
am now. Yep.
yeah? How's that working?
It goes okay, I guess.
It's not exciting until it's exciting, right?
That's about right. Yep.
Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. All right. I'm just some B-roll, so I'm not not going to be interfering with anything or
Sure.
just.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been doing some stories about flock cameras and surveillance in general, and
So I guess you said flock cameras?
yeah, I'm surprised you guys haven't heard of them. So I'm TC.
Okay.
So flock cameras are a system so flock is technically the company, and they are partnering with private corporations, and you can always tell people they're used to being on camera because they never flinch. And so they private with both private corporations, stores, businesses, hotels, banks, whatnot, and they also partner with government entities. And so like here in Minnesota, they're coming up all over, and what they do is they read license plate, make, model of vehicles. They have the ability to be able to do facial recognition. So it's a little bit like red light cams, a little bit like speeding cams, but AI powered, AI based. And so they can do things like track a particular vehicle that moves through a particular area on a regular basis, and then they can link that vehicle to movements in other neighborhoods with other vehicles of the same type or with vehicles that it's seen with on a regular basis. And so I'm covering that on my channel right now.
Okay.
And
is this like a YouTube channel
yeah,
or something?
yeah, absolutely. So
I guess I haven't heard of.
yeah, so it's a really interesting story. In fact, I just had a kind of a local Minnesota expert on to talk about it on a live stream on Saturday, and I'm like, well, I got the day off today, so I think I'm going to go out and do some B-roll and some stream on that. And so
Is it like so do you like go to like the different county offices or something and just kind of like?
well, I was kind of coming around to do some talking about how prevalent cameras just in general are
Sure. Yeah.
as a whole,
Right.
but how you see them, especially on government buildings now,
Yep.
which to some degree with people can be strange,
Right.
and not always friendly. And I'm like, well, let's go take a walk around downtown just to see what downtown Preston's like.
Sure.
And I live in Spring Valley, and like there's cameras everywhere in Spring Valley, and there's next to nothing here in this downtown area
Right.
I think I counted maybe 5 on private, if that, on private businesses.
Yep.
And in fact, there wasn't even one on the outside of the city building. The only one in the city building is inside the lobby. And I thought, well, that's interesting.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So obviously, Preston's smaller in Spring Valley.
Yeah.
But I was like, But I do want to, go in and see what it's like on the inside. And
Yep.
I was like, can't hurt to ask. So
Sure.
really appreciate it. But
Interesting.
thank you for being receptive. You
Yeah.
never know. Sometimes people are like, I don't think I want you in here.
Oh well, I mean, as long as you're not like bothering anybody.
Oh no, I'm not going to harass any. I have no interest in harassing anybody. I'm just literally pointing out to people just how prevalent cameras are and how much you don't notice it. And of course, the only time somebody notices a camera is if they're having an interaction with somebody in law enforcement or there's somebody walking down the street. And I'm like, people do not realize how much they're being recorded every day, all day long. So.
Yeah, I mean, you run into cameras just whatever anymore.
Oh yeah, and people have private personal body cams now, and
Yeah,
Google glasses even. So
Yeah, I've seen those, and then some people have like, stuff in their car, dash cams.
Oh yeah, I have dash cams, and yeah, like you never know when you're gonna need that. Not even to protect yourself from speed traps.
Right.
But just people cutting you off or hitting you or whatever. So, yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick walkthrough. I have no other reason than that. So.
Sure. So is this like a? You said it was like a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I do independent investigations and stories on things, everything from, reporting on people who've had good interactions with law enforcement to people that have had negative interactions with law enforcement. I'm all about transparency, and I've never had a bad interaction with anybody from Fillmore.
Right. Yep.
Ever. I've never had a deputy in.
Good to hear, I guess.
Never had. No, it's not a guess. It's a good thing. I've never had a negative interaction from any deputy in Fillmore County ever. Sure. And it's, in fact, back in November on election day, I was literally just taking personal video while I was voting, and Grabba and Rindles got called because I was there.
Oh.
And I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. I haven't violated any state statutes or laws. And one of the election judges called 911.
Oh, sure.
And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I got the audio, and I was shocked. They were trying to get me kicked out. They were trying to have me barred from voting. And I was like, and Grabba and Rindles handled it perfectly.
Yep.
Just absolutely perfectly, which, I tell people all the time, I wish, other people would, when you're having a positive interaction with law enforcement, instead of only the negative, because there are negative.
Yeah.
There are definitely negatives out there. So,
you didn't go up this time.
I know, I didn't bring my phone.
So I thought it was interesting to have that interaction with the election judges.
Yep.
And have, people see that in that case, as much as you may want to be biased sometimes against law enforcement, they handled it well, and I wasn't shocked. I think overall Jack's done a really good job with his staff. So, so I put my stuff up on my channel, and sometimes it's critical of law enforcement, and other times it's open and honest, and I'll flat out tell people that, hey, here's a perfect example of someone who is not only civil but actually pleasant and asked questions. Yeah. So,
no, I appreciate it.
Is it just, if I remember correctly, it's just the lower level and this level, right? There isn't.
Yeah, there's just the two levels here.
Yeah.
So it's auditor, treasurer, assessor, recorder, court related stuff over here.
I didn't know the county attorney kept his office over here. I thought he would just work out of.
Sorry, I got a cold.
Oh, sure, you're spreading your COVID around.
Yeah, right.
So that's from working in an air-conditioned building all the time.
Yeah. As soon as I get outside, then I'm good.
Yeah, see, there it is. It's that stuffy air conditioner there. So,
Yeah, downstairs is like zoning and administration, probation, things like that.
Yeah, I won't be very long. So, appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
That's something I wish we could see more of. More AEDs in other places. So yeah, this is cool. We have a conference room like that. But yeah, it's actually a well-maintained building, so I like it. So, hi there.
Hi.
How are you, Shannon? You know me. Janelsa.
Oh, how are ya?
Good. I'm just doing some B-roll for some stuff and talking about security and cameras and prevalence. I've been covering flock cameras. Been doing stories about flock cameras and stuff.
Okay.
And I was like, I got the day off. I think I'm going to go and take a look at what downtown Preston's like as far as cameras go. 'Cause, in Spring Valley, there's camera on every building in downtown now.
Is there?
Yeah, just about.
Okay.
And I'm like, I thought with Preston being the county seat, there would be,
Yeah.
dozens in downtown. And I think I found 2, 3, maybe 4 on private businesses. And then everything else, of course, is here in the government center. So,
Oh, sure. Yeah. Good to see you.
so I'm like, I'm going to go see if they'll let me do some B-roll. I'm glad they have a Dropbox. Yeah, the less I have to be in a building, the better off I feel, you know? Oh, boy, who asked Raslin, what's wrong with it? I don't like the idea of them just recording everything, everywhere, all the time, no matter what. So corrections, that's not the jail, obviously. Corrections is like probation and parole, so they work out of here. This is probation offices, things like that. Yeah, there's a camera there. It's understandable. Security in the buildings. Oh, hi. No, just go back to, I'm just doing some B-roll and some commentary on modern security these days, so.
Sounds good.
How dare you are dangerous for the camera. How dare you use your right to film. Be a good boy and comply and let the feeling override your rights. Oh, absolutely, you're 100% correct, TT. I don't know who I think I is. So. Now, I'm not going to want to go back outside. They have a very nice, mild temperature in here. I'll go back upstairs through the... And then there's a camera in the entrance there. I wonder if there's one here. No. I don't see anything here. I don't know, maybe. Here? Nope, just there. I think it's probably one of the least surveilled government buildings I've ever been in. But, hi there. Got your two right here at the base of the stairs, probably go in both directions. I imagine they're PTZs. Pan, tilt, and zoom. And then just the court stuff here. So I'm gonna get a drink of water. County Attorney's office is right there. Boy, this thing is, watch this. Boy, one jump and then it's done. Water's not cold. Almost stale. But anyway. You have a good day.
Yep, you too.
But they don't give you a lot to watch.
No, not really.
You watch all the cameras in the facility then while you're here? Or?
Yeah.
This is literally probably the least amount of cameras I've ever seen in a government building.
Probably, yeah.
So they're updated.
Yeah.
I've been to a few that just have hundreds of cameras and they're the big old block.
Yeah.
From the almost like the early 1990s, and I'm
Yeah.
like, how do those even work with any systems anymore?
So
So
some of those old ones, it doesn't seem like they'd be very, it'd be almost too grainy to see anything anyway.
oh
You would think.
yeah.
But,
I'm always surprised whenever you see so like with the Charlie Kirk situation.
you know,
I'm always surprised when they put video out, and I'm like, my blink camera does better than your expensive security camera at your really expensive state-run school. How is that possible?
yeah, that's what I was.
How can
yeah.
you produce something so low quality?
Yep.
But, you said you've been at it for 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years here, and I was up at the jail for since 2014, I guess.
Okay, so you did 5 years or did you do 5 years there first, or sometime there first, or?
It was kind of a mixture of working up there and then down here before this was full time.
So are you on the roads? Were you on the roads at all?
Not in Filmer County, no.
No, okay.
No.
So you were working somewhere else before this
Yep.
then? Or were you then? If you don't mind saying.
Yeah, no, I was over in Spring Grove.
Oh, so you were a town cop there?
But
That had to have been exciting.
yeah, I mean it's all right.
Weren't they down to just the chief there for a little while here,
Yep.
a couple years ago?
Yep.
Yeah. Did they hire more finally?
I'll
let you work.
Yeah, I think so. Hi.
Hi there.
So you can throw your purse or your anything else metal or not? This one? Yeah, no, you don't want to take that. Go ahead and run through.
Okay.
Then other than the pump, no knives,
No.
guns, weapons. things
Nope,
like that.
nope, I'm good.
You can get it home.
Oops, thank you.
You can take your purse here too.
Hello? Hi.
You don't find anything?
I'll let you. You take care. Thanks for being so pleasant.
I am the courthouse now.
He was decent. Like that. I was going to ask him a couple more questions, but he's got a job to do. I don't really want to interfere with that, so let's see here. Where else?
Hello.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you today?
I'm not going to complain. Doesn't do any good anyway, does it?
Doesn't do any
No.
good.
No one listens. So, what would you guys think? Should we go over and shoot some video at the sheriff's office? It's about a 5-minute drive. So, there's another camera right there. You guys can see it, I'm sure. Camera there. You are your best listener. I don't listen to myself very well. I am not good at listening to myself. So that would have been that area where I was walking where I told you it was a raised boardwalk at one time. It would have been literally boards. Would have had it up off of street level when the streets were all mud and rutted and caked with horse manure. There's another camera there. Oh, let's walk down by the fire department. We'll walk down by the fire department real quick and then we'll go over to the sheriff's office. We'll do that. What time is it? 3:01. Yeah. We'll go down there by the fire department for just a minute. Pretty sure that's the fire department. And then we'll go out to the sheriff's office, do a few minutes out there. And then we'll see, we'll end it. Hopefully this month I'm going to have a special guest on from Spring Valley. She is the Historical Society Director in Spring Valley, and she is going to come on and tell us a little bit about Rose Wilder. Rose is the daughter of Laura and Almanzo Wilder, or Almanzo. And Rose was a prominent voice of the Libertarian Party in its early days as it was building and growing. So, okay, fire department. There we go. So they got a plaque up here. Let's go look at their plaque. They built this in 1990. I'm not really doing any auditing the way you would consider it auditing, but thanks for stopping by, William Beasley. Maybe if you would have been here sooner, you would have seen me having an incredibly pleasant interaction with a deputy. So, very, very good interaction with the deputy. So, Are you guys all volunteer here?
What's that?
Are you guys all volunteer fire department?
How's it going? You don't recognize me, do ya?
No, not anymore.
Wandered.
Right?
My hands are all wet.
You've
from,
lost almost as much
sorry.
weight, if not more than
I've
me.
been spraying that and yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Your wife is a superstar.
Yeah, she's been doing pretty good.
Yeah. I see you get in there once in a while.
I don't get into the. I don't make coffee or anything.
Yeah, you just go harass her while she's working?
Not really.
No.
No.
So is this what you're doing now? I know
Yeah.
you do real estate too, right?
Not really.
No?
I kind of gave up on that.
Yeah. What brought on this? You said, I'm tired of being a big guy.
Yeah, no, I was. You recording right now?
Yeah, well, yeah, I was streaming, so you don't have to
Oh.
say anything. You don't have to talk about how big you were.
Oh.
Because everybody who knows me knows I was really big, so.
Oh yeah, you've done good too.
Yeah, I'm 176 flat this morning compared to 300 plus when I started, so.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we have quite a few volunteers and then a couple full time.
Oh, okay. So are you on the full-time side?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. You are EMT then? Or?
Yeah.
So are you relatively new, so you got to come out here and spray it by hand? Is that what's...
Yeah, well, you see all the bugs.
All the bugs, yeah.
Right.
Is this your responding ambulance then?
Yep.
This is the fanciest responding ambulance I've seen in any town, let alone a town this size.
Harmony's is about the same.
Harmony's got a good one
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
Wow.
This one's, I mean, it's 6 years old.
It is. I thought there was some sort of like contractor or something sitting down here, and I'm like, what is going on down at the fire department? I'll go check
no.
that out. So,
Oh yeah.
but
Just cruising around town today, walking.
well, I took the day off from work and decided I was gonna come down here. I did a story on an interview on Saturday with a guy talking about flock cameras, which are the ones that are popping up all over the country now. Well, Minnesota's getting them all over now.
I guess I'm not
They're the AI-based camera from the company that works with private businesses and government entities that do everything from being able to read license plates to do like even if you ask for it, they can do it. Facial recognition in vehicles, and they can track vehicles through neighborhoods and give.
Who
And
owns those?
well, they're owned by Flock, and just like you know this from being in the law enforcement world, everything so like body cams and stuff, all of that, the Flock cameras, if you're private, you have anybody that works for you can have access to it, and if you're a government entity, then anybody with access to like body cam type stuff, so mostly through police departments and things. So in fact, there was just a city, it was either Chanhassen or Chaska, where the city made a private apartment owner corporation, made them put flock cameras on their property or they wouldn't give them a license to continue operation.
Oh wow.
And I was like, what? That's not good.
No.
So, but yeah, I didn't even recognize you down here.
No,
So
yeah, I'm down 80 pounds, so.
you're looking good, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Looking young still. That's not fair.
Yeah, I'm only 35.
Yeah, that's still not fair. So,
Yeah.
well, you take care, man. I'll let you get back to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love your guys' coffee. We love it when they come to town.
My
So
wife, she's got a knack. She's good at. She's
Yeah.
really good at that stuff. I don't
yeah,
know.
she does great. My daughter runs the museum down there.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
that's how you know that.
Well, no, I spotted her on Facebook before she ever came to town, and then I saw you in one of the pictures, and I'm like, tell him I said hi, and I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, I do the maintenance and stuff on it. Like me making coffee
Probably wouldn't want it.
Make drip coffee.
That's about it.
Yeah.
You take care, man. It was good to see you. Oh, well, hello from Russia. Thanks for being here. Do svidaniya. I probably said that all wrong, but yeah. Yeah, when you live in, I don't know how accurate this is, but Fillmore County at one time, very recently, was the poorest county in the state of Minnesota, apart from the Indian, the First Nations reservations areas. So, yeah, it was. We were hurting, and so I don't know if we're still in that poorest category yet. I know we're nowhere near being out of the bottom 10, but there might be others that are lower than us income-wise, poverty levels-wise. But it's also a small county by way of population, so you do run into people, as you saw in the courthouse. I ran into somebody that worked with a family member for many years, and then I just ran into this individual who was a town cop here in Preston, actually, and they had a mutual agreement with the city of Lanesboro where they would provide Lanesboro with law enforcement services, and I was doing street ministry back when I met him the first time. Somebody called the cops on me for doing street ministry, and yeah, it was not pleasant. So but yeah, let's go one more location. Oh, hi, Nancy. Nancy, you got a gift membership to the channel from the Smoking Auditor. So that's cool. That was really, really cool of the Smoking Auditor to do that. So yeah, we're gonna take a quick drive over to the sheriff's office location. About 5 minutes. And show you the improvements that were made over there. But yeah, it's a clean town. Part of that is because it's a touristy town. Very touristy town. A lot of people come to town for the bike trail here. Epstein files are no dinner. I agree. I agree. I think nobody in government should get dinner until the Epstein files are released. So, but yeah, this is it's a pretty town. It is literally nestled on the bluffs, that right at the edge of bluff country. And so like Spring Valley is the outlying edge of bluff country, so it's not nearly as hilly. But Preston sits right on the edge of bluff country, and so there's a trail that goes to the east and northeast of here to the city of Harmony, and that trail is 12 miles one way, and if you start in Preston, it's all uphill. And then the other part of the trail goes down into Lanesboro, and you are riding on old railroad beds that have been converted for trail use, and they're paved. It's one of the most beautiful trail systems in the entire country, but it goes through the bluffs, and there are some monster hills that you have to take on for being in a trail system. Oh shoot, I forgot to stop and get that zucchini. Oh well. Chickens would have loved it, but so now we're over at the other part of the government buildings for Fillmore County. So we'll see here. So yeah, they have more office buildings over here, so we'll take a look at that. Look here to see what's going on. Don't look at my nose here. We'll flip that around so you don't have to look up my nose. Look at my dirty car instead, which is better than looking at my dirty nose. I should probably go in and see if I can talk to the sheriff and tell him I really appreciate that his staff handle things so well. go in and see what we got here. Oh, so we got public health here, and we got social services in here, and 24-hour surveillance. Let's see what we got going on. Interesting. Okay. You don't have to apologize for not being here for the whole thing. It's just me walking around talking. And what's down here?
I know that it's gotta be hard for you to be that far away.
Oh, there's our camera. Camera there. Elevator for downstairs. Oh, I'm just walking around. I've been with the camera up there. Yeah, I'm just. Hi there. Nice offices. So that. I think I'm going to see if the sheriff is in. Is this not the door anymore? Oh, jeez. Don't want to go in there. I'm just curious now. Where's the guy got to go if he wants to go into the sheriff's office? Interesting. Well, that's this guy. Aren't you out of your area? Where they put the office at? I was going to come down and talk to DeGeorge for a minute.
Oh, he's down at the court. If he's still in, I don't know what time
Oh,
it
is that he keeping his office down there right now?
Yeah, most of us moved down there.
How long is that going to last until this is all done?
Yeah, this should be done in November, I think.
No, never.
No?
Never going to be done.
They say this year.
Is it right there?
It's been moved back.
Yeah, this year. So is they modernized the whole intake then and everything for the
Yeah,
the
so all
detention
that is
center.
brand new.
That's cool.
Yep. So that's the Sally Port. We can pull in the other side and come out this door. Big enough for
really-
ambulances and whatever else needs
Gee,
to get in there.
would never need an ambulance in a detention center ever. No, I was going to come down and I'm doing a story. I've been covering, have you heard of flock cams? Oh, congratulations. I know, I think I told you congrats on the promotion already. Yeah. Hadn't seen you in so long. I'm so used to seeing you in town, I never see you anymore.
Right.
He's like, no, I've been covering flock cams, and I did a live stream with a Minnesota guy who's kind of the non-professional expert on flock cams and what they are and what they do, and it got me thinking about just how much we're on camera everywhere we go. And you know Spring Valley, I mean, there's cameras on all the businesses down there, and I'm like, oh, I got the day off, I'm gonna go see what it's like in Preston. I'm like, there's no cameras anywhere until you get to the courthouse and the government building. And I was like, and I was gonna come give to Georgia a thumbs up, because back in November, Rindles and is it Grabaugh got called out because I had my phone recording while I was going through the voting process, and Ziggin had Jordan call 911 about it, and I'm like, I'm just recording the process. I'm perfectly allowed to do that.
Right.
And Ziggin just lost her crap on me, and like Jordan, or not Jordan, but Rindles had to come over, and then Grabaugh had to come, was over here and made it in near record time. And he's like, we didn't even know what we were walking into, and like it handled it perfectly. And I've never had a chance to get over here and catch DeGeorge and say, hey man, you guys, I could be pretty critical at times of law enforcement, and for my own reasons, plus having worked for Homestead for so long, but I keep telling people, like, not every agency you run into is everybody a jerk. Small town or big city, not everybody's a jerk. And as critical as I can be, I just wanted to finally have a chance to tell the sheriff, hey, you guys do a really good job. And sure as crap, I get over here and find out that I was in the right building to start with.
Yeah.
So where does he keep them down there? Is it downstairs?
So yeah, you got to go. It's downstairs, but you got to go through the main entrance.
Yeah.
Yep, and then.
I talked to the court security guy over there.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
What's his name?
Today?
Yeah.
Tyler's down there today.
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit. He goes, so what are you doing? And I told him, and he's like, what are flock cameras? And I'm like, I thought you guys would know.
Yeah.
So.
I've never heard of it either.
But, well, they probably haven't made it to Fillmore County yet. So Winona's started putting them in.
So who governs them or runs them?
So Flock is owned by Flock is the company.
Oh, okay.
And so you know how like Motorola does stuff and Taser does stuff, and so like your cameras, how Motorola owns the servers, and then everybody pays for storage on that.
Yeah.
Same thing with Flock. They own the servers, and then you basically contract with them, and then they contract to private and to public. And one of the stories that we covered on Saturday was it's Chanhassen or Chaska. There was a rental property management company that the city threatened to take their license away from them unless they put in Flock cameras. And I'm like, that's kind of shady. That's more than a little shady, but I'll let you. It looks like you're cleaning up for end of shift.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're just getting some equipment installed, so we're trying to.
Are you full days now?
Yeah.
That's nice, isn't it? You guys on 8s or 12s?
6. I'm on 9s.
You're on 9s?
That's basically a 10. So.
Well, yeah. By the time you get in,
9.5. Yeah. So most of our guys are on that same schedule.
write reports.
Yeah. Exactly.
You guys been staying chill over here?
We get days.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, it's good.
Well, good. Take care, man. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you down in Stellar for a while. Did you guys find a new watering hole, or? I know you get out to racks, but.
We were in there probably 2 weeks ago and had dinner, supper.
I don't go in enough.
Yeah, I don't go down there much at all.
Who can afford to eat out anymore?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Suzanne's moving over here. Did you see that?
I seen her car down there this morning.
Yeah,
so.
Suzanne's moving over here, and they're going to open up a coffee shop in there, in the same spot. So, I don't know. Maggie's like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, you have till January to make up your mind. So, hey, take care, man. She's moving out of there and opening this in January, and then they're going to try and open up right away, too. So, I'll let you get back to work. See ya. All right. Like people know me, so it makes it easier for them to interact with me in a positive way. But even the people who didn't know me were very, receptive. And that, I think sometimes, like, I mentioned Amagansett Press, so Jason from Amagansett Press. He has a statement that he gives. He says, I give what I get from people. And I think that's kind of the right mentality. And you know, if somebody comes at me hard over something, I'm gonna, because they don't like what I'm doing, I'm gonna say something to them, you know? Like, you don't need to come at me hard because you don't like what I'm doing. And if you give me attitude, I'll give you attitude. And I don't care who you are, law enforcement or non-law enforcement. But that's the thing, over here in my county, I've yet to have had a negative interaction with a member of the Fillmore County Sheriff's Office. I think part of it is because they're regular people, you know. They're down to earth. They are interacting with people who are probably having the worst time of their life, and the last thing they need is some cop, some deputy who's just wants to be an ass because he's having a bad day. Now, hey, look, I've had some people report to me that they've had really bad interactions with, you know, Fillmore County deputies, and I've told them, look, I'm not saying you haven't. I am not going to say that you have never had a bad interaction with the Fillmore County deputy. I've had, and many of you know this, I've had numerous negative interactions with law enforcement. Even people who know me. But the issue that I have is, if every interaction that you have with law enforcement is always negative all the time, and then you can never provide evidence of that negative interaction, then I'm going to call foul. I am going to have to say I don't believe you. And the reason that I'm going to say I don't believe you is because in this day and age, with the prevalence of cameras, with the prevalence of body cams, personal body cams, cell phone cameras, and things like that, there's just no way that you aren't recording those things. There's a lot of bad weed going. Yeah, now that weed's been legalized in Minnesota, I don't believe that there's any reason for anybody to have bad weed in Minnesota. So I am going to go in and get something cold to drink. You guys want to go with me? Over here. Let's do it. All right. So. Yeah, I don't, it's, what am I going to get? What am I going to get? What should I get? What should I get? Should probably get a Celsius. Celsius sounds really good right now. What are the flavors? What do we have? Sparkling berry, Fuji pear, is fruit. No, I don't want that. Let's do a. Alright, there we go. I'm getting into Celsius.
You ever see my kid in school? Like, oh, it's something small. I don't think it's small. You should. You're nice.
You're fine. You don't have
Go
to
ahead.
apologize.
You go ahead.
How are you today?
Good, just that for you?
Yes. You have to scan that, don't you?
Yes, I do, thank you. 321?
I forget that people have to scan things sometimes. So. Thank you.
Thank you, have a good day.
You too.
Pass on 3.
I don't know, Jen. Celsius isn't that bad. 0 carbs, 0 fat. It's got vitamin C, calcium, 50 milligrams, vitamin C, 60 milligrams, riboflavin, 1.7 milligrams, niacin, 20 milligrams, vitamin B6, 2 milligrams, vitamin B12, 6 milligrams, biotin, 300 micrograms, pantothenic acid, 10 milligrams, chromium is 50 micrograms. So Celsius is actually pretty good for you overall. So, but I think we're going to get in the car and I am going to start to do a little bit of wrap up and tell everybody thank you for watching. This is fun. Didn't find any flock cams. Didn't come up with any. I can never find the cherry cola flavor, Sarah. So yeah, I can never find the cherry cola flavor. I wish I could have found the cherry cola flavor today. I think that would have been a nice little treat for TC on his birthday. I don't know what the sweetener is in this one. Let's see here. Carbonated filtered water is the primary ingredient, then citric acid, taurine, guarana seed extract, caffeine, green tea extracts, sucralose, so yeah, there's your sweetener, calcium carbonate, ascorbic acid, it's got ginger root extract in it. That's interesting. Good stuff. Pina Colada Celsius. I've not tried that one yet either. I don't like coconut, so not a big coconut person. Full Metal Chad. Careful. I think the cherry cola Celsius would be really good with some rum in it. Oh, Jen, thank you. You didn't have to give me a super chat for my birthday. I wasn't telling you it was my birthday for a super chat, but thank you, sweetheart. But yeah, like I was saying, I think that there's a big problem with thank you, Nancy. Nancy, did you see you got a channel membership? A gifted channel membership from Smoking Auditor? Stopped in and gave some channel memberships, and so that was really sweet of him to do that. But yeah, I think the biggest problem that we have is, so like, I'm going to admit, I was on the cusp of jumping all over that state trooper because I have a high dislike of the Minnesota State Patrol, and I'm trying to remember that as much as I dislike the Minnesota State Patrol, there are some decent people in the Minnesota State Patrol. And I showed that with the guy back in August during the flood who was very chill, very civil with me. And I had to tell him that, you know, and that's one of the things that I wanted to do today with the sheriff over here, is I wanted to, on camera, you know, write to him in person, tell him, hey man, your staff have never been anything but cordial and professional and ethical with me, and Yeah, I know. Like I said, I've talked to some people over here who swear up and down that the Fillmore County Sheriff's Office is crooked as the day is long. But I've yet to be able to get them to provide evidence of their assertion, and other than what they've written down in their accounts. Now, I'm not going to dispute that maybe they have had those, but I need proof, right? I need proof. If we're going to talk about cops being corrupt, if we're going to talk about law enforcement being dirty, if we're going to talk about law enforcement needing reform, then don't assert that you've had nothing but bad interactions with local law enforcement and then never be able to provide the proof. It's not going to work with me. Because I think you get people who, rightly so, are burned because they've had these really bad interactions and they've been abused. And so they want to immediately jump to every one of them is bad. ACAB. And I don't hold to the all cops are bastards mentality. Let us know how we can best support you in the channel on your birthday. I want to say that the best thing for the channel on my birthday is just sharing out my content. If you can afford it, channel membership at some level, a recurring channel membership. Super chats on live streams, or super thank yous on videos that I put up. Oh, thank you, Tina. I don't know what those gift things are. That's a second one. Smoking Auditor sent a gift, so that's really cool. I really appreciate that. I know that there's a problem with law enforcement in the United States. You will find no person who is more objectively critical of the institution of policing in the United States than me. And I added the word objectively there because I needed to modify that. People who are more critical of law enforcement than me, yes. But I don't think they're objectively critical. And the difference that I will draw there, the distinction that I will draw between critical and objectively critical is I want to be critical of the situation, and I want to be I want to be a little bit like Audit the Audit, but I don't want to be Audit the Audit because what he does is a niche thing and it's really good. If you guys don't watch Audit the Audit, I think you should. But I want to be able to look at every situation and say, wow, yeah, the cop was really wrong here. At the same time, the person they're interacting with was also being an ass. Now, as a regular everyday Joe in public, you're entitled to be an ass. There's nothing that says you cannot be an ass to a cop when they're dealing with you. And there is something that says the cops have to be 100% calm and in control and professional at all times. They have to be. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Cops have to be 100% calm, cool, and collected in every situation, and they have to be professional. And if they're not professional, in the face of people who are angry or mad, they've got to get that in check, or they shouldn't be in the career field. But you don't have to be an ass to every cop that you see. And I think that's what a lot of people want, and so these people that are more critical than I am, they're coming at it from a perspective of just wanting to be angry at the cops all the time. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No no failure in it. They just want to be angry. And I can't abide that. I cannot abide people who just want to be angry at the cops all the time. Now, here's an objective criticism. I think that law enforcement has too much power. Even the people that I like in law enforcement, they have too much power. And what I mean is that there are so many laws, hundreds and thousands of laws across the country alone. Hundreds of thousands of statutes and regulations and codes and ordinances in Minnesota alone. Okay? It gives cops power to do things that they shouldn't do. And it allows for criticism, or not criticism, it allows for criminalizing behaviors that shouldn't be considered criminal. And that's what I think a lot of people miss. Like, some of our reasons that we need massive law enforcement reform in the United States is because legislators working together, House of Representatives and the Senate, in your state or at the federal level, really are regulating us to death. And, there's an old saying that there isn't a single person alive that isn't, committing at least one felony a day based on all the laws that there are out there. All the codes and statutes and ordinances. And I will tell you, it's true. It's demonstrably true. And so you have to have enforcers for that. And giving the enforcers that much power, and then putting them in the position to be able to determine how they're going to respond to every single one of these situations, even though they swear an oath to enforce all the laws of their state and their county and their city and the country, doesn't mean that the laws that they're enforcing are good. Because most of the laws are criminalizing behaviors that are not criminal. So like right now, right? If I take my seatbelt off and that trooper that I just saw back in Preston gets in behind me and he observes me not wearing a seatbelt, he has the full authority of government behind him to execute a criminal proceeding via probable cause to stop me and seize my assets for not wearing a seatbelt. Who's the victim? And that's the question that we have to ask ourselves every single time we talk about a law. Who is the victim here? Who is actually being victimized? You not wearing a seatbelt victimizes no one, but it can criminalize you. And as Jen says, that in and of itself is actually making you the victim of the state. And that process started well before law enforcement got involved. It started when lawmakers, legislators, got together and said, what we need here is one more thing we can penalize. One more thing that we can push onto the people. And because of the oath that cops take, oath that law enforcement officers take, to enforce all the laws, but they also swear to uphold the Constitution, even the guys that I get along with, the guys that I find to be respectful and civil and polite, are more often than not violating their oaths because they're enforcing laws that violate the Constitution or violate our natural rights to be free from unreasonable search and seizure, to be free from harsh and criminal punishment or heavy-handed punishment. Like, there's like, the Constitution is clear, the Bill of Rights is clear that we are not to be penalized in such a punitive way that it is abusive. And I'm sorry, a ticket for 120, let's just say, it's still a $120 ticket in the state of Minnesota. I don't know what it is now. But let's, $120 for not putting the strap over my body to protect me from myself and other drivers. That's my decision. That should be my decision, not your decision, not your decision, not the government's decision to tell me that I have to be safe in the means and the manner in which they insist that I have to be safe. For the longest time, Montana had no enforceable daytime speed limit. And part of that was, because Montana is this vast state that as you travel across it on Interstate 90 especially, but even on their state highways and their county roads, there was no enforceable daytime speed limits. And they had no rash of like serious fatalities that were due to people excessively speeding. One, most people aren't trying to get out there and go 190 miles an hour in their car. Not because the speed limit says they can only do 55 or 65 or 70 or whatever it might be, but because most people just aren't comfortable driving that fast. They're terrified of that level of speed. Like, if you've never gone that fast in a car, for most people, it's a terrifying thing. It's a terrifying experience. 100 plus miles an hour in a vehicle is incredibly fast. So people just aren't driving that fast. And so when Montana had that no enforceable daytime speed limit, if they really thought you were driving in an excessively dangerous way, they could get you for reckless driving, or they could get you for troopers in Montana especially love to write tickets for basically what it came down to wasting a natural resource. In other words, you're driving so fast that you're just wasting gas, and we're going to get you for that. Now, do I think that's petty? Absolutely, that's petty. But who's the victim in speeding? Who's the victim? There is no victim when you speed. And there is no such thing as a potential victim. When you start to talk about the potentiality of someone being victimized in a moment, then you are really getting down to thought crimes. You're getting down to pre-crime. You're getting down to that place where they were in that Tom Cruise movie. And I was just talking about this the other day with somebody. I can't remember what it was called right now. But where they had an entire division called pre-crimes, and they had these Minority Report. That's what it is. In Minority Report, they had this division of law enforcement officers that were assigned to go and stop pre-crimes. Now, it's a little obviously it's a little far-fetched, because you're talking about these clairvoyants, these precogs who could foresee these crimes being committed, and so then they would go out and arrest these people before they would murder somebody. And so while it is a bit of a stretch, we are basically just starting with traffic codes, these civil infractions. We are creating a category of crime, which is you not wearing a seatbelt is victimizing somebody. You speeding is victimizing someone, because the potential for you getting into a fatal accident when you're speeding are higher. Therefore, we have to control your behavior. Sure, somebody speeding, they could kill someone. But I have dash cam video from Friday night when I was coming back from movie night in Harmony. I have a video of someone, I stayed behind them. They were doing 40, maybe 40 and a 60, and they were weaving all over the road. They were going not just past the fog line, but they were literally, driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved highway. And, it, you know, it's driving in the gravel part of the shoulder on a paved high they were potentially going to victimize somebody. I didn't call law enforcement. I stayed behind them. I was prepared to see them go into the ditch. I would have stopped and rendered aid, and then I would have provided the dash cam video at that point if they hurt somebody. But I just am not on board with the idea that something that I'm doing could possibly, by a breath, victimize somebody, and therefore we have to execute the full force of government upon them by first sending armed men with guns and badges out to prevent this potential crime from taking place. And there again, many of the things that you see in force that start people down the road of involvement with law enforcement are things that should not be criminalized, should not fall into the realm of enforcement by the state. Chief amongst those are most traffic codes. The closest that I can get to agreeing is, I think that when you get drunk and get behind the wheel, you have made a calculated decision prior to being inebriated to intentionally put the lives of other people at risk. And it still takes a buttload of clear violations of people's safety on a road for me to call law enforcement. And I mean, I followed this guy pretty much halfway home from Army, so about 15 miles, and almost all of his lane drifting was taking place to the right, so going off the road by himself and not hurting anybody else. Had I started to see him veer into other lanes of traffic with the amount of oncoming traffic that was coming that day, I might have called law enforcement. But I just the idea that your life can forever be spiraled out of control and out of your grasp to keep within your power because you start down the road of getting pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt, and then you don't pay the seatbelt ticket on time, and they issue a bench warrant, and then you've got a warrant for your arrest, and the next thing you know, you get arrested for not wearing a seatbelt, and now you're in the system, and now you got to pay this fine, and not only are you paying the fine for that, you're paying the court fees for that, and you're paying for being booked in, and literally in the state of Minnesota, the county detention centers, the sheriff's offices can charge you for booking you into the facility, and now you've got this hanging out over your head, and if the judge is having a bad day, you can end up on probation for missing court, for not wearing a seatbelt, and now you're in the system, and everything that goes, it just on and on and on and on and on, over not having created a victim. You literally have not created a victim in that situation. You simply chose not to wear a seatbelt. What's the crime? Where's the victim? And so when I look at people and I say there is no bigger critic of law enforcement who is objectively critical out there. There is nobody that is more objectively critical than me. No one. Not a soul. I demand law enforcement reform. I demand that we start to pass legislation that ties law enforcement's funding to continuing education as it regards the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I absolutely demand that we do that. I brought it up when I had my interview a week and a half ago now, with the young man running for Minnesota House. I said, I asked him, would you, Mr. Beck, William Beck, would you support legislation that would tie Minnesota law enforcement funding to continuing education in the Constitution on an annual basis? And he said, I'd look at that. Yeah, I'd think about that. story of my life, got a reckless driving for speeding accidentally. In your defense, you had to pee badly. Yeah, and in your defense, it's not quite as easy for women to stop and pee as it is for guys. I know that for a fact. But here, you know, here we sit in a realm of, or in a reality where people are slavishly compliant to the state at all costs, because they have been told that the state always knows best, that the state must know better than we do on what's best for us, and it's in our best interest to do whatever the state says. No, you're not God. There is only one God. And He exists in three persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So you are not God. Testing what? I don't even know who you are. Testing the limits, more like you are after attention since you have been a failure in a lot of your life. I don't even... Okay, thanks, David Button. Okay, I'm a failure, says some random dude on YouTube. So, yeah, I do believe that we should be working towards how do I want to say it? We should be working towards everybody demanding constitutional training for every law enforcement officer in the country every year, and it should be tied directly to their funding. And when I say constitutional training, I don't mean just that they have to read it, but that they bring in constitutional law scholars, that they bring in constitutional attorneys, and maybe even, you know, everyday people who are critical of law enforcement, and ask them, you know, hey, what can we do in interacting with you guys to make these situations less hostile? How can we be less hostile in these situations? Because if you watch enough videos, if you watch enough videos, you will see on a daily basis that there are people out there who are highlighting a massive amount of law enforcement officers who come onto the scene and are immediately out of the gate incredibly angry. They're very angry and want to have conflict with you. They just do. And if you remove them from that realm, put them in a classroom and sit them down with somebody like a Detective Matt Thornton or a Sean Paul Reyes, and you make them have these conversations, and you have them listen to constitutional attorneys, actual, you know, not somebody who just says I'm a constitutional law scholar. I hate that. But somebody who's a constitutional attorney, or someone who spends their time working on and focusing on those concerns and those issues, and they have to read case law, and they have to be tested on these case law, especially as it regards the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, and the Fifth Amendment. on an annual basis, it will change the face of law enforcement. It will change the way cops cop. But we have to start with where all the problems start, by introducing the inoculation in the moment to the system. Shoot, I forgot. I gotta put the seatbelt back on before I victimize nobody. Thank you very much for another gift. Thank you, Micah. We have to introduce into the system an inoculant, and that inoculant is training in the Constitution. And once that inoculant is in the system, once we have done inoculation like that, we will start to see changes. We absolutely will see changes. But we can't rely on law enforcement to reform itself. We have to start with the legislature. We have to start with the legislature. Why? Because they're the ones I know that there was never a right to public privacy. That's the whole point of why I was doing what I was doing. And now we're having a conversation as it regards how we interact with law enforcement. There is a right to be free from intrusive government surveillance. That's for sure. But anyway, it is legislative bodies that create. It's legislative bodies that create all the laws that law enforcement have to enforce, because they swear to enforce all the laws of their agent, or not their agency, of their counties, their states, and the federal government. And so now we introduce the inoculant to that system, which is constitutional reform, constitutional training for every law enforcement officer out there, annually, not once every few years, not once every 5 years, not 2 days in school, in their schooling, their academy or whatever, but annual training. Like they get annual training and everything else. They get annual training in use of force. In fact, most of the time they get multiple use of force trainings a year. They get annual training in certification for CPR, AED usage, and all of that. They get all these trainings all the time, over and over and over and over and over again, but they get maybe one class in their college or in their academy training where they talk a little bit about constitutional law, and that's it. Like, one of the things I was going to ask the deputy at the courthouse about today was, I was going to ask him if he could, if he understood the 5 portions or pillars of the First Amendment. Not in a hostile way, and not in a gotcha way, but just to say, hey, you should focus on these things. And so hopefully if he watches this, because I gave him a card, hopefully if he watches this, he'll think about that, because he had a great attitude. He had we had a wonderful interaction, and he was curious about what I was doing and why I was doing it. And that he could have very easily said, hey, thanks for being compliant with the screening process here, which I have said, I don't want to go through screening and I still want to come in. Sure, I could have done that, but it would have defeated the purpose of going into the building. I had nothing to hide in that sense. I literally wanted to see what it was like to get into the building, and he could tell I was recording. So, okay, guys, don't pay attention. I got to get cash out of the cash machine here. So nobody try to steal my money. I have to pay an exorbitant utility bill. I don't think I can afford it this month, but Oh, no. Hey, man, thanks for... Yes, by all means, go to your city council meeting. I hope that you're going just as a regular citizen wanting to be involved in local government. I believe in think local, act local. I cover my city council meetings, and I'm going to try to start covering school board meetings and county commission meetings, but I have to take time off from work because our county commission meets during the day. So, go figure. But yeah, I know. I've beat this dead horse about what are you talking about? I have no idea who you are. So, but anyway, reporting me to who? That's just a very strange thing that you just said. But yeah, like I said, I beat the dead horse about constitutional law, or constitutional training for law enforcement. But I do believe that if we tie their funding to their compliance with constitutional training every year in a continuing education way, and then also get the legislature to really get behind that, I believe we would see some changes. And we have started to see some changes in law enforcement. They are starting to, you're starting to run into more and more officers who are willing to tell people they're not doing anything wrong. They're on a public sidewalk, they're filming, they can film whatever their eye can see, and it falls into the plain view doctrine aspect. A lot of officers are starting to recognize that. And, even with my election debacle back in November 5th, the deputies said he's not doing anything wrong. Now, I was a little pissed off that the city attorney of Spring Valley, Sheriff DeGeorge forwarded the files to the city attorney to look at, and the city attorney said, oh, I've decided, I have the emails, I really need to share that. I've decided I'm not going to charge him because he behaved himself after the deputies got there. Well, the implication is that I wasn't behaving myself before the deputies got there. So, Bob Smith, what are you suggesting, taking away qualified immunity? Actually, I do believe that qualified immunity should be removed, Bob. Absolutely 100% believe that qualified immunity should be removed. And not just from law enforcement, it should be removed from everybody. And most people do not understand this, that every single public entity in the country has qualified immunity. Politicians have qualified immunity. Judges have judicial immunity. Prosecutors have prosecutorial immunity. Public school teachers have immunity. And it goes on and on and on. And a lot of people don't know that. So yes, I do believe that you should remove qualified immunity. I also believe that in removing qualified immunity, they should be required to carry insurance. Who in their right mind would take the job then? Somebody in their right mind would take the job, Bob. That's who. Because they would have to carry some sort of bonding that says, I am going to pay for this insurance that will cover me in case I'm sued. And it will also change the way that they govern, the way that they behave and enforce the law. Because there are states that have removed qualified immunity from law enforcement, and they have seen decreases in crime and decreases in lawsuits. I don't, sure, why not why not sit on a forklift and get paid? I mean, law enforcement, contrary to popular belief, law enforcement officers are some of the best paid people in the country. In fact, just in the state of Minnesota alone, the average law enforcement officer makes more than twice the median income in Minnesota. More than twice. I want that to sink in. More than twice the median income. So that's pretty high. Cops are not poorly paid in this country. Decrease to not being proactive. I don't think there is any such thing as proactive law enforcement. I believe that there is aggressive law enforcement, but there is really, and we see this over and over again, that there is no such thing as proactive law enforcement, because when it matters the most, in most situations, even in good agencies, when you're in a fecal matter hits the whirling blades of the oscillating air mover, law enforcement can't be there for you. They're just not. They are there to potentially investigate the crime after it's happened. So I'm going to wrap this up here, folks. I got to go in and take care of something, and I've been rambling long enough. So we had a really good experience today. Had some great conversations with the deputy that was court security guy in the Fillmore County Courthouse. As you saw, I had a great conversation with a former law enforcement officer who recognized me when he got called on me. We also, you saw me have a great conversation with Sergeant over there. Some of it's because I knew these guys, but it's an awful lot about, people recognizing that you can have good interactions with law enforcement, and not every cop out there is a jerk or an idiot. And Mary Moriarty, big plan. I don't know, I don't like Mary Moriarty. I think she is a scoundrel and a leftist, and she should be removed from office by the voters. But the problems that Minneapolis is having is not a lack of law enforcement. The problem that Minneapolis is having is because leftists have taken over Minnesota, especially in the big cities, and they have instituted policies that are bad for the people. And they rely on law enforcement to enforce their bad policies for them as well. Let's see. What are you going to do? What are you doing tonight for your birthday? Nothing. I'm going to go home and I am going to oven roast some chicken, bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs, and just take it very easy. Have a couple of cocktails maybe, or maybe a couple of Heineken Silvers, and get ready to go back to work tomorrow. So this is I'll close with this for somebody like Bob, and this is not meant to be hostile. People need to realize that law enforcement is a tool of government. It is not a tool of law and order. It is not a tool of liberty. It is a tool of government for enforcement, and law enforcement will enforce whatever the powers that be want enforced. They just will. And it's high time for people who are on the right side of the Overton window to wake up and realize that not too long ago, in 2020, law enforcement cooperated with the tyranny of lockdowns. Law enforcement cooperated with the tyranny of mask mandates in school board meetings and city council meetings and county boardroom meetings. So law enforcement is not a tool of law and order. Law enforcement is not a tool of liberty and freedom. Law enforcement is a tool of government and policy enforcement. And they will swing and sway whichever way the winds blow based on whatever political entity is in power. That makes law enforcement the greater threat to liberty and freedom in the United States and in other places. And the sooner that more and more people wake up to that, we live in a police state. And we have to take our country back. And that starts with law enforcement reform. And law enforcement reform will happen when we push our legislators and our legislative bodies to institute law enforcement reform through requiring constitutional training annually for every law enforcement officer in the country. And that will not change until people locally get involved. So thanks everybody for tuning in to my little relatively impromptu birthday stream as I went to look for flock cameras and see what security cameras look like across a very small town in Minnesota. And as we saw, it was one of the few towns that doesn't have a lot of security cameras. So until next time, my friends, fight for your freedom, it is yours. Fight for your liberty, it belongs to you. And Sic Semper Tyrannis.